Okay, well, we have a full packed webinar for you today. My name is Terry Teague, and I am Director of Admissions Enrollment at SMU Global Online and Continuing Education, as well as Business Development and Corporate Programming. Today's webinar, as you all know, is about the ever-evolving CMMC compliance, the process, the requirements, as well as the new certifications that are required for that compliance. At many of the meetings that we all have attended, there's always an abundance of questions about how my company will be impacted, if this applies to my company, and also who in my company needs to get certified for what. So it can be kind of confusing to navigate those waters. And so today's webinar is going to answer a few of those questions. We have with us here today Regan Edens, who is currently the Chief Transformation and Compliance Officer and co-founder of DTC Global. He has previously served as the founding director on the CMMC accreditation body, board of directors, chairman of standards, management committee, and vice chairman of the training committee. So he's also represented CMMC AB in the federal CUI stakeholders working group and led the CMMC industry working group in collaboration with the DoD. And we're so happy to have him as part of us here at Southern Methodist University. He will be our subject matter expert and our master instructor for our internal programs. So I will turn over the webinar to Regan so he can help to answer all of these questions. We do have the Q&A open. And so if you do have questions as he's going through the information, we ask that you put them there, and we'll leave a little bit of time at the end of the webinar to answer those specific questions that you may have. Thanks so much. Welcome, Regan.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate your help, Terry, and the partnership with Southern Methodist University. It's been excellent in sort of walking this adventure and developing these certified professional courses and the requisite courses we expect to offer within your internal program or our internal program. And today, I think, is a special topic because we want to talk about where do people fit in, because there's a certified there's this certified training, right? And how does that relationship fit into my organization, my company? How useful is it to me as I'm helping out either my small company, my mid-sized company, or even my large company? And then what does it matter? You know, what does it matter if I'm certified or I get certified training, or whether I'm not? And how impactful is the quality of the instruction and the quality of the content? Does it really make a difference? And all of those things really matter when we're making decisions about how do we help our organizations, guide them, lead them, coach them, mentor them to meet CMMC requirements as a champion, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about just lay the foundation, because we always have a mixed audience, right? We have an audience filled with very advanced people who know a lot about the ecosystem and very basic or no previous knowledge about the ecosystem. So we're going to talk about this, and I'm going to start out with quite simply the role of the CMMC, the purpose of the CMMC. That's the Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification, is to qualify and to certify organizations by a third party that is managed and led by the CMMC accreditation body, which is the organization that serves as the board of directors on, and the chairman of the standards committee and the or vice chairman of the training committee. And so over the last 2 years, we've been very busy, and I'm no longer part of the organization, but I say we because my heart has really been in it since day one, all the way and continues to going forward. And we've been very busy in building out the ecosystem. And there have been a lot of bumps and bruises because you've got a lot of responsibility in a very, very short amount of time. It's been like riding a rocket, honestly, for the past 2 years of my life. And so we continue to expand and contribute to the CMMC accreditation body, meeting those requirements as they expand their training curriculum. So helping the organizations understand the requirements with consistency, with clarity, and being able to apply the information that you learn about these requirements in your environment, or helping other organizations as an outside resource, and applying those knowledge, skills, and abilities to help guide and mentor and coach those organizations that wish to reach out to you and embrace you as an outside resource to help guide them, right? Because a lot of organizations don't have the time or the expertise in order to develop that knowledge, skills, and abilities that are necessary to really help them meet the requirements. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, with that sort of baseline, I'm going to share my screen, and then we will talk about, I'll show Terry one more time, and then we will talk about this unique set of requirements. So just a second, let me undo the thing here. Okay. So Terry, let me know, can you see the ecosystem screen? Okay. All right. So when we talk about the accreditation body, okay, the accreditation body manages and really manages and directs as a traffic cop and an enforcement authority for the CMMC program office within the DoD. And there are certified roles. So if I'm in an organization and I want to help my organization, where do I start? And then you can always go to the CMMC accreditation body, and that's important because you need knowledgeable and reliable resources of information. And it's very the most extreme caution I can offer you to make sure that you are engaging reliable sources of information when making decisions about how you're going to participate within the ecosystem, either as an organization seeking certification or as an individual. So this is where you start. And remember that we've turned over the organization over to professional staff, and they're very short-handed. So you're going to see the maturity of the ecosystem. You're going to see the maturity of the CMMC accreditation body as it grows and strengthens. Okay. So on the starting out on the CMMC AB website, we can look at the fact that this tells us about the ecosystem, and it tells us about the timeline, because those are two important things when we're making decisions on how to invest, right? And how to invest our time. So most importantly, let me get this. Most importantly, I've got this menu bar here, not helping. Hang on just a second. I'll get this menu bar on my way. Oh, there we go. Okay. So most importantly, sorry, there's a menu bar there that was in the way. When we talk about the accreditation body and we're talking about the certified ecosystem, it all starts out with the principal focus, which is the organization seeking certification. So whether you're inside the organization and you want to help your organization, or you're outside the organization and you have knowledge, skills, and abilities in cybersecurity or in compliance or both, and you want to help organizations guide them and mentor them and lead them to compliance. We start with the registered practitioner roles, and we look at the focus of those responsibilities. Now, it's a very basic course, and it's offered by the AB itself. Now, that's an introductory level course that in itself is valuable to be recognized, that you yourself as an individual are motivated and driving towards enhancing your knowledge, skills, and abilities and applying them within the ecosystem. Again, supporting an organization seeking certification internally as an organic asset, or externally as an asset, maybe working for yourself or another company, helping to, again, drive and support that organization to meet requirements, understand the requirements, and then pursue their journey and their path to compliance. The certified assessors are going to provide the actual assessment. And then there are provisional assessors, and I've been very fortunate enough to train most of the provisional assessors that are in the program right now. But Mike Snyder's doing a fabulous job in enhancing and building and growing and maturing what we started with, and it's really doing an extraordinary job with the provisional assessors. And that's developed into the curriculum, and I've been a part of that in supporting Mike in developing that curriculum and really establishing that sort of first rung on the ladder, which is in the certified assessors. Those provisional assessors are really supporting directly the CMMC accreditation body. So when we turn outside the provisional assessor program, we look to the certified professionals, and certified professionals really focus as the foundation of the very advanced, knowledgeable ecosystem. Now, remember that it's going to take time for you to learn it all. And I promise you, I've spent an enormous amount of time, and for better, for worse, I'm probably as close to the standards you can possibly get as a human being can get. And that's because I spent a lot of time with ITAR and EAR compliance prior to and cybersecurity as a in the private sector after my departure from DoD, and really dove in deep into the CMMC or the CUI requirements under DFAR 7012 and the CMMC requirements, and fortunate enough to be selected day one to be on the CMMC accreditation body. So when we talk about transferring that knowledge, it's going to take time. So you're going to go through a certified professional course and develop, and depending upon the content, right? It's all about the content. Yes, it must be certified by the organization. That's absolutely critical and a requirement for it to be valuable to you inside of the sort of the certified ecosystem, if you will. However, not all content's created equal. Not all instructors are created equal. So what you really want to do is you want to focus on a reliable instructor that does understand the content and can elaborate and apply the certified content in a way that's meaningful and valuable to you, both as an internal asset inside your organization or as an external asset supporting an organization, perhaps doing consulting or advisory practice, right? Or supporting a CMMC, a C3PAO, right? A certified C3PAO. So that relationship of your goals and ambitions inside of the environment, and supporting an organization seeking certification is really important to the relationship to your decision about what course should I be in, what courses should I spend my money on? Because remember, we don't print money, right? So we've got to make decisions about not organizations having a limited budget, or you yourself are self-funding, which I think it's very admirable. Because I think we're sitting at a ground floor of a spectacular opportunity to both defend the security of our nation and also to be very, very value added to organizations who need to meet these requirements. So, and there are many of them. I think the base number is 300,000, but I think you'll find that when we get started, this is going to be much, much bigger. That's a tenfold, in my humble opinion. I think that's a 10x against that number. So the 3 to 5 million companies globally will be impacted by this, I think, easily. So the reality is there's an enormous need, and there's enormous demand, or will be, once certified professionals begin their path to maturity and their path to developing the knowledge, skills, and abilities that they need to meet these requirements. Remember, you have a stewardship and a duty, and I consider sacred obligation to get it right, because you're going to guide organizations as a certified professional to meet these requirements. Well, that sounds easy and very superficial, but the reality is that they're going to spend hundreds, if not thousands of hours collectively trying to meet these requirements. So in order to meet these requirements, they're going to make decisions about where they spend their time by priority and urgency, about the dollars that they invest, and time is money. So when we pay attention away from products and services and focus on getting compliant, we are making an extraordinary investment as a defense industrial based company to prepare to meet these requirements. So we want to get it right the first time. So our responsibility is, when we make decisions about technology, is that certified professionals, in my humble opinion, have a sacred responsibility to get this right, because organizations will do what you tell them to do based on your guidance to them, and they're going to make significant investments in time, treasure, attention, and really the organizational level of effort that's required to really meet these requirements beyond just the cybersecurity components. So that means that good stewardship of your responsibility, it begins with you and who you are and what you're bringing to the fight in your background and your willingness and desire to put in your sweat equity to learn about these requirements beyond the certified professional program, because that's the foundation that you begin. And you can't, I promise you, you can't possibly absorb it all. So it is your responsibility to find a quality program to invest in the content and learn the content. We're not passing a test here because there's no expectation. Think of yourselves as a CMMC doctor for an organization whose lives and their livelihood and their kids' scholarships or their kids' college programs and how they pay their bills are all reliant on you, because as a portion or as an entirety of the company's contracting, then that income that is brought in by DoD is absolutely reliant on you getting this right and you helping them get this right. Remember, it's 100% conformity. So your knowledge and your skills and your abilities to meet the demands and guide and mentor and coach the organization in order to meet these requirements is pivotal to them achieving the contract, retaining the contract, and then doing what they do in an extraordinary way for the defense of our nation. So it's a very important when we talk about the certified professional that your responsibilities go beyond, just having another certification, just meeting the minimum requirements to pass the test. If you're, in my opinion, if that's your goal in what you do, then this is probably not a program for you, because there's a tremendous amount to learn, and you have a responsibility, in my opinion, to be a good steward of those responsibilities and the trust that's placed on you to help organizations meet these requirements. So that certified professional role is based on who you are and what you want to bring to the fight when in helping an organization, and what your goals and aspirations are, and really beginning in a ground floor opportunity and really building an entire ecosystem and contributing to the success of others, both other certified professionals that you work with, certified assessors, mentoring and coaching and leading registered practitioners and helping them grow and learn from you. And then also, again, what you're doing as you champion CMMC requirements within the organization, and either organically or as a third-party resource, and then championing the organizations and leading them and influencing them to meet these requirements, right? Because people hate change. So at the end of the day, it all starts about you and who you are and what you're going to bring to the fight. The second piece of that in making a good choice on the certified professional program is the content. Yes, it's certified content, and then it's the instruction. And those two magical things, or three magical things, you plus the certified content plus the instructor, really brings it to the fight. And that establishes the foundation for what you're going to do throughout the rest of the ecosystem. So with that, we look at the path to compliance, right? So that path to compliance, once you've completed that certified professional course, in order to meet the requirements to help organizations, you're going to have to certify. You're going to have to take a pre-test on the exit of the program, and then a final test, and then you're going to have to continue to sharpen your saw, right? Continue to grow and to engage those others who are otherwise certified or otherwise interested in coaching and mentoring, the PTACs, the MEPs out there, all of those organizations that are struggling to understand the requirements and understanding what to do and where to make their investments. So that sort of path leads you to looking at, okay, this is, it's a lot of money, right? But I think the opportunity to contribute to the national security interest and to the value of their organizations really makes it an extraordinary opportunity. And so one of the things that when you're looking at just see the business aspects of this, if you look at the way, and I use Texas as an example. So Texas has a great, very strong defense industrial base. I'm very fortunate to be born and raised in Texas and partner with SMU, and really helping to guide both Texas and the rest of the country. And globally, we have global clients as well, and how to meet these requirements, right? So it's not just regional, but remember, where we touch people is in our own community. So you need to know about your community, and many of the states and regions have a focus on how to understand what is the aerospace and defense industry within your area that you can easily reach out and really partner with. So as a certified professional, yes, you get the knowledge, skills, and abilities, but it's really about networking and about building a relationship and how to apply your skills and how to make it valuable to you. So in Texas, we have 15 active military duty bases, right? An enormous array of reserve bases as well, right? We've got lots of opportunities, both in the prime contracting space and in the sub-tier contracting space, in order to understand how we can help both large organizations, mid-sized organizations, and small organizations meet these requirements. And there are lots of small organizations that are struggling to understand what to do and how to do it. And that's a great place for you to start, right? Because they don't have much money, they're on a budget, and you need to learn. So as you apply as you learn and go through your certified professional course, then you're applying those knowledge, skills, and abilities with people who can afford you and can, or you help your own organization and guide and mentor and train them, and you develop your knowledge, skills, and abilities as you walk that path to progress and path to compliance. Now, another example of this in Tennessee, I'll show you that I was talking with Renisha earlier about, and she's a extraordinary woman, a registered practitioner now, who's got a great background and a great desire to become a certified professional. So how do we help Renisha understand what the market is, so that, yes, she's got this desire and this passion for this, but how does she understand how to make a living, how to help organizations and connect with organizations around her? So in Tennessee, she happens to live in Memphis, right? And again, in Tennessee's got a website based on the state, through the state government, or sometimes it's through the MEP or the state business development and industry growth councils and those sorts of things. And now we can learn about what are the opportunities in her area regionally, and how does she connect to those like-minded people around her, and so that she can build relationships and she can build a network that they know about her, she knows about them, they can work together, and then you can join together and engage those organizations that really need your knowledge, skills, and ability. So there's lots of opportunity out there, right, for you to not only develop and leverage your background, right, but also understand that through education and through training that you can apply these knowledge, skills, and abilities, and you can help the organizations in both in your community and regionally, and certainly throughout the globe. Now, as we're about 2 weeks out, I think, and we've been paddling. I say we, but the CMMC accreditation body in the ecosystem has been paddling vigorously like a duck. Right, a duck is very calm on the top and very fast on the bottom as they paddle. And so what we want to do is we want to realize that the last sort of lull, if you will, the last 6 months of this quiet period has been very good. And the reason for that is because the ecosystem has been catching up to the rocket ship that we've been on over the last 2 years. So that rocket ship is about to reignite, because there's an expectation of an announcement in the next couple of weeks about some modifications to the program. Is the program going to go away? Certainly not, right? Absolutely not. We have investments in DFARS 252, 204, 7012, and we have to apply those investments and certify. And we know that self-attestation has not gone well over the past 4 years since DFARS deadline of December 31st of 2017. So it's not going away. Absolutely not. And anyone who thinks that is really not in touch with the national security interest and the priority and the extraordinary vulnerability that we endure as a nation every single day. Will there be modifications? Absolutely, there will be. But I think that there are appropriate and practical modifications that are going to be helpful to us in launching the ecosystem and expanding the ecosystem, and allowing the ecosystem to mature within a rapid and urgent sense of urgency, but with the ability to actually sustain the growth. So that those announcements should come in a couple of weeks, and that really will help you understand and reignite the engine. So where do we start? We've got the opportunities for certified assessors, and that those opportunities for certified curriculum will come. In my humble opinion, you start with a registered practitioner course, which is a very basic accredited course through the AB, and that gives you a foundation of knowledge. And then you jump into the certified professional course. Now, if you're a go-getter and you've done a lot of research and a lot of due diligence on your own, and you know a lot about the CMMC ecosystem, the requirements in NIST 800 171, then I would jump right into the certified professional course, in my opinion. And so as you transition through that certified course, and hopefully, if you pick the right instructor and the right program, you're going to learn a enormous amount that you had no idea. There's a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of misapplication or incomplete application of the requirements. And so in that regard, we've got a strong foundation on how to move forward. So,
right, thanks, Reagan.
You're welcome.
We have a couple of questions I want to make sure that we get to before we wrap up, because we want to be very respectful of people's time. One of the questions what came from Sarah, what other industries do you see adopting the CMMC process in the future?
Okay, Sarah, that's a great question. So whether you're not, there's two, since we're talking about certified professionals, because that's really the topic, or understanding where you fit in. There will be an enormous amount of there will be growth, rapid growth from DoD into the other federal sectors. You don't know this, but there's been a FAR CUI rule in development for quite some time that's expected to be released. And that FAR CUI rule, it being a federal acquisition requirement and not a DoD requirement, will be a critical enabler to the other federal agencies adopting these requirements. Now, by federal law, they actually already apply. But what they don't have is any enforcement mechanisms or certification mechanism. So the reality about all of the federal agencies that have CUI, because of the federal requirements to protect CUI and safeguard CUI and FCI, of adopting CMMC is really, really high. In fact, in my opinion, it's a foregone conclusion. GSA has adopted requirements related to its DoD contracts. It has an excellent DoD CUI or GSA CUI guide if you want to learn more about that. And then we look at DHS is in the process of adopting and exploring the adoption of CMMC. And so I see those the beginning of that. Treasury also very interested. So HHS, when we talk about health information, because remember that health information has been and PPI privacy information has been a very difficult topic for organizations to put their arms around. So you can see that expansion very rapidly, and I would expect as the rollout completes in the next 5 years, by the 5th year, all federal agencies that have CUI and have an interest will, in my opinion, will likely adopt CMMC as a certification, a third-party certification element. They don't have the internal assets, and they don't have the internal resources.
We have two more quick questions
Sure.
if we can. So one is,
You're welcome.
I don't want to do assessments, but how valuable would it be to take this class, the CCP class, as an IT professional to help my company from the inside with DFARS?
Man, I cannot tell you how important if you don't want to be a certified professional, no problem. Taking the class is going to offer you extraordinary insight into organizing. Cybersecurity and IT do not have a culture of compliance. And I say that with all due respect. I love my IT people because they have the hardest fight of any person inside the organization. But organizing them and getting that basis and that foundation of compliance for CMMC requirements, but applying that as best practice in the civilian sector, in the commercial sector, is absolutely essential. And that extraordinary foundation will be laid, preparing you enabling you to meet DFAR 7012 requirements right now, for that matter, and of course preparing for CMMC certification in the future. So it doesn't matter whether you're not a certified professional. It should be, depending upon your course and your content and your instructor, it should be an extraordinary value to understanding the tiniest details of these requirements so that you get it right the first time.
Okay, we're going to try this one last question. I know it's right at noon, but I think it's pretty easy. It's okay. What is the length of the course for the certified professional designation? I could probably answer this. Our offering is 2 weeks. So Ours is 2 weeks long. It's a hybrid model. I know there's going to be probably others out there that are offered in different modalities, maybe all live online. Ours will have some reading on your own that will be on demand information. And then there'll be 2 sessions a week with Regan, where he'll come together, review what you've read, also answer questions, and there'll be knowledge checks, a pre-exam test at the end to determine how well you're absorbing the information. But Reagan's a great mentor as well, so he can help you guys and direct you as needed and know which areas will need more discussion. So that's all we have time for today. It's 12:01 actually. So I want to thank everybody here. If you have more questions, please go to our website and we'll be happy to answer anything that you have. I'm also going to put into the chat here a discount code. And if you use that code to register for our specific program here at SMU with Regan, you can use that code when you go to checkout, and it's good for 10% off the program. So thanks again. Thank you, Regan, for all your wisdom about this and helping to get some clarification on what everyone needs. And look forward to having another webinar fairly soon in the future.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.